0 to 1 by Peter Thiel is a bold and thought-provoking book that challenges the way we think about innovation, startups, and building the future. Thiel, a billionaire entrepreneur and co-founder of PayPal and Palantir, doesn't offer a checklist of startup tips. Instead, he offers a way of thinking that separates true innovators from mere imitators. His central message is this: don't just go from 1 to N, making more copies of something that already exists. Instead, go from 0 to 1, create something entirely new. Thiel defines progress in two ways: horizontal and vertical. Horizontal progress means copying things that work, expanding them across the world. That's going from 1 to 2 to 3. For example, globalization is horizontal, taking a working model and spreading it everywhere, like China replicating Western manufacturing. Vertical progress, however, means doing something entirely new. It's going from 0 to 1. This is where real innovation happens, and where the future is made. Thiel's key argument is that vertical progress, technology, not globalization, is the real driver of a better future. He believes that most people are stuck in a mindset of copying. They want to make the next Facebook or the next Uber. But copying leads to competition, and competition destroys profits. Thiel makes a strong case that competition is a trap. Most people think competition is healthy, but Thiel argues that it's actually destructive. In highly competitive industries, companies end up fighting each other so hard that no one makes money. Everyone's focused on beating rivals instead of creating something meaningful. So instead of entering competitive markets, Thiel urges founders to escape competition entirely, by building something so unique and valuable that there's no substitute. This leads to one of the book's boldest claims: all successful businesses are monopolies. Not in the negative sense of being greedy giants, but in the positive sense of being so good at what they do that no one else can offer the same thing. Think of Google. They own search. Not because they fought others off, but because they created a product so effective that no one else could compete. Monopolies have pricing power, long-term stability, and the freedom to innovate without pressure. Thiel contrasts this with businesses like airlines, which serve millions but make tiny profits because they're stuck in brutal competition. To build a monopoly, Thiel introduces 4 key elements that great businesses often combine. Proprietary technology, something that's 10x better than anything else. Incremental improvements aren't enough. The product has to be dramatically better to break through and become dominant. Network effects, products that get more valuable as more people use them. Facebook is a great example. It wasn't useful until your friends were on it, and then it became impossible to leave. Economies of scale, the ability to serve more customers at little extra cost. Software companies like Google can grow massively without proportionate costs, making them extremely efficient. Branding, a strong, lasting impression that differentiates the business in people's minds. Apple, for instance, combines sleek design, user experience, and marketing to own a premium space in tech. But Thiel doesn't just talk about traits, he also discusses strategy. He says most startups fail because they try to go too big, too fast. The best companies begin by dominating a small market, then expand gradually. PayPal, for example, didn't start as a payment empire. It began by targeting eBay power sellers, a tiny but desperate group that needed better tools. Once they dominated that niche, they scaled outward. Amazon did the same, starting with books before expanding to everything. The lesson: win a small market first. Be the king of a corner before trying to take the castle. Another major theme in the book is the importance of having a clear, bold plan. Many modern entrepreneurs worship the lean startup method: launch fast, test, pivot, repeat. But Thiel sees this as a trap. He argues that a bad plan is better than no plan, because without direction, startups drift. True innovators have vision. They imagine a future that doesn't yet exist, and then work backwards to make it happen. They don't stumble into success, they design it. Thiel also touches on the idea of secrets. He believes that the world still has hidden truths, valuable ideas that most people either don't see or don't believe. The key to startup success is finding a secret that others ignore, then building a business around it. It could be a technological breakthrough, a unique customer insight, or a counterintuitive idea. What matters is that you see something others don't. Great businesses often begin with one founder's strong belief that the rest of the world gets something wrong. That's why Thiel values founders so highly. He sees them not just as leaders, but as creators of culture and vision. Founders are often intense, eccentric, and obsessed with their ideas, and that's a good thing. Thiel argues that strong cultures, even if cult-like, are necessary in the early stages. They unite teams around a common mission. Without that, startups fall apart under pressure. He also warns against the popular idea of disruption. While many startups aim to disrupt industries, Thiel believes this mindset is flawed. Disruptors focus too much on tearing down the old, instead of building something new. The goal shouldn't be to fight the giants, but to create a new game entirely. If you're truly building something from 0 to 1, you're not disrupting, you're pioneering. Finally, the book ends with a reflection on the future. Thiel argues that the future isn't inevitable. It depends on what we create. If we rely on globalization, we'll just copy what already exists. If we want a better world, we need technology, bold ideas, and original thinkers. The people who will shape the future are the ones who think differently, avoid competition, plan boldly, and build from zero.